My name is 𝗪𝗲𝗀 𝗵𝗪𝗛𝗀. I'll be the moderator for this webinar series today. So before we get started, we'll just request you to take a moment, please, to check that everything is working perfectly from your end. Check your audio settings and also your internet connection, and also maybe take time just to introduce yourself in a chat, your name and the organization where you're coming from. We should be able to get started with the actual business of the day in the next 5 minutes or so. Thank you. Okay, so I think at this point, I'm sure most people have joined us, so we can get started with our program. So once more, like I introduced myself, my name is 𝗪𝗲𝗀 𝗵𝗪𝗛𝗀. I'm an advisor with Dev-Afrique. So once more, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our participants, depending on where you're joining us from. Welcome you all to the 12th session in the Water and Sanitation Data Systems webinar series. We are Dev-Afrique. We are proud to partner once again with the Global Water Operation Partnership, GWOPA, and the Eastern and Southern Africa Water Regulators Association, ESAWAS, to deliver this webinar series. Our goal remains to support our local partners, which include governments, local municipalities, and also utilities, in enhancing water data systems across sub-Saharan Africa and also South Asia. So the agenda for today's meeting is basically to I will begin first by having a general overview of the public data systems to strengthen project that we at Dev-Afrique has been implementing with support from the Gates Foundation. Then we'll transition also just to give you a brief of general overview on how this project has eventually been transitioned to an initiative known as WASH Data Labs. Then after that, we'll go into the main business of the day, which is the presentation and also a live demo on the functionalities and also operations of the DIGIT platform. Then after that will take us about 60 minutes or so. We'll go into about 5 minutes break just to allow for people to stretch and maybe grab some water or coffee. Then we'll come back for a question and answer session that will take about 30 minutes. And then thereafter, we should be able to wrap up and close the webinar. So before I we go into the actual business, I'd like to give you a general overview of the public data system strengthening project that started sometime last year with support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and also just give you a general overview of exciting outcomes and products that we've been able to produce from this important project. So the Public Data System Strengthening Project is funded by the Gates Foundation, and it's an initiative to improve sanitation data systems for municipalities and utilities across sub-Saharan Africa to ensure that we enhance effective decision-making, performance management, as well as enhance sanitation service delivery. So the project's activities are mainly centered around five major areas or work packages. The first one being we looked at improving the understanding of data system strengthening best practices from related sectors such as health and urban planning, and how those best practices can be applied into the WASH sector to inform overall efforts that align toward improving sanitation data systems. So based on this, as part of this work package, I've been able to put together like a best practices report from the from the health sector rather. And this report will be published and launched in the next 1 month or so, and you'll be hearing soon from us on how that will be. Then we've also the project was also focused on improving the understanding of the current state of non-sewered sanitation data systems at municipalities and utilities in sub-Saharan Africa. So under this work package or area, Dev-Afrique conducted a comprehensive assessment across 10 countries in sub-Saharan Africa to identify NSS data system gaps, weaknesses, opportunities, and best practices. So all these have been put together into a report with clear recommendations to utilities, regulators, and also development partners on what measures can be taken to strengthen sanitation systems in sub-Saharan Africa to ensure that there is effective decision making and also improved performance management for overall improvement in sanitation service delivery. So the report also, I think, was published and launched at the beginning of this year at the FASA Congress in Kampala. So those of you that have had a chance to look at this report, if you have, you will notice that one of the major findings or outcomes of the assessment was that generally sanitation data systems in sub-Saharan Africa are weak and fragmented, and also in most cases they do not respond to the decision making, performance management, and also improved service delivery needs and requirements of most utilities and municipalities within the region. Thus, based on this finding, Dev-Afrique was able to convene a workshop in Lusaka, Zambia, which was attended by various actors and players in the sanitation sector from around 8 countries. And the purpose of this workshop was to develop a non-sewered sanitation data systems terms of reference, which defines a standardized framework of a non-sewered sanitation data system, outlining what this system should be able to look like in terms of its core functionalities and also requirements for the purposes of helping utilities and municipalities across the region to build robust NSS data systems that responds to their local needs and also their local context. Then the other area also was that we focused on was to support the development and piloting of a WASH data system maturity index assessment tool in partnership with ESAWAS, who is our partner. So the tool is basically hosted by ESAWAS, and it's designed to enable utilities and municipalities to evaluate and conduct detailed assessments of their data collection tools, systems, and also data flows across the entire data ecosystem. This is for the purpose of enabling them to identify gaps and weaknesses within their system, and probably help them to design strategies and interventions and also approaches on how the systems can overall be strengthened. Then the other focus area was also to do a landscape and also develop an inventory of successful WASH tools, both in South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, that have been applied and deployed across municipalities and utilities. So the background to this is, I think we all understand that utilities and municipalities rely on various, or rather are using various data sanitation systems and tools to manage sanitation service delivery. But access to a comprehensive information about these tools has been limited. So to improve sector-wide awareness and also accessibility, the project mapped 14 sanitation data tools currently in use across multiple countries, which covered Sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. And based on this mapping that was done, we were able to develop an interactive tools mapping and also dashboard that basically allows utilities and regulators and also municipalities to explore available tools that can be utilized, which are at their disposal, and also maybe just help them to be able to compare what the core functionalities and capabilities of these tools are. So the purpose overall for the tool, I think, is that it's supposed to empower and also help the sector actors select what tools can be suited for their context, and also guide on how such a tool can be acquired and also domesticated to cover their needs. And then the other area was also to provide technical support and also facilitate cross-learning, also insights sharing on data systems best practices. So this work package is basically where the webinar series that we've been conducting falls. The main goal of this webinar series has been to provide shared learning and also spotlight suitable tools and also enhance adoption and effectiveness of sanitation data systems to drive improved service delivery and also performance management across utilities and municipalities. So the webinar basically targets various WASH stakeholders, both in South, across Africa and also other parts of the world. So those that have been following us closely on this webinar series, you'll be able to attest the fact that we have actually been able to spotlight a number of tools. In total, I think we've done 10 tools, and Digit being the 11th tool that we're spotlighting today. And of course, all this work has been done, of course, in collaboration with ESAWAS and also GWOPA, our main partners, and of course, the developers of the tools themselves that we've been able to spotlight during this period. Yeah, so of course, we are proud as Dev-Afrique once again to host this 12th session of the webinar series, and of course we are proud to state the fact that I think we continue to build shared understanding and also ability to create impact and also data-informed decision services in the region as a result of these initiatives. So, of course, to consolidate all these outcomes and also outputs that I've highlighted from the Sanitation Data System Strengthening Project, Dev-Afrique has been able to transition to an initiative known as Wash Data Labs. So this is basically a new initiative that is designed to support utilities and also municipalities, as well as regulators to leverage data and also strengthen data systems for improved service delivery and also performance management. So the lab itself, I think, aims at providing training, mentorship, and also access to cutting-edge data tools, but overall also aim to co-create data systems, strengthening solutions together with our partners who will be utilities and municipalities and also regulators. But overall also champion data system strengthening best practices based on the co-shared learnings which we've generated from the time that we embarked on this initiative, and also overall be able to promote data systems knowledge exchange across various partners and also platforms. So all the tools that I've mentioned, including the outputs with regards to the assessment reports that was done, the tools mapping dashboard can all be accessed through the Wash Data Labs website. So if you just log into washdatalabs.com, you'll be able to have access to all these outputs from these various initiatives that I've alluded to, and including also some of the key resources that have come out from this webinar series. I'll skip this. Yeah, so today, of course, maybe before I go into introducing the digital platform and the core objective of today, I would just like to take a moment to spotlight our partners who have been with us throughout this journey. That is the Global Water Operators Partnership Alliance, that they have got an upcoming Water Operators Partnership Congress that will be taking place in Bonn, Germany from October 27 to 29, 2025. So the Congress is basically designed to gather water and also sanitation operators and also bring together other utilities and governments and also development partners to exchange knowledge and also inspire action and strengthen capacities towards achieving sustainable development goals, especially the goal for universal access to water and sanitation for all. So I'd like you to, if you're interested in this, we'd like to encourage you to register for this Congress. So the registration is open and you can find it on the UN Habitat's Global Event Management System. So just log into the UN Habitat website, you should be able to get more details on that. So, of course, like I alluded to, the main agenda for today is to spotlight the Digit, which is a platform that is promoted and also developed by eGov. So the objective is just to, of course, share and learn more about Digit and how it can improve decision making, service delivery, and also overall performance management in the water sector. So the presenters will take us through the details of the core functionalities and also the capabilities of this platform and how it can also be used to improve sanitation service delivery. And then, of course, at the core of it also is to make sure that we encourage strategic networking. So we aim to encourage everyone that's joining the core to, of course, continue the interactions on the various platforms, including the GWOPA community of practice, as well as the ESAWAS platform, where we have these post-webinar engagements, to just make sure that we explore ways to continue thinking about strengthening sanitation data systems as a whole. Yeah, so before we get into the presentation, of course, as I earlier mentioned, we have partners with eGov, who are the promoters and the developers of the digital platform or systems, and of course also in collaboration with ESAWAS and GWOPA being our partners. So I'll introduce the team of presenters from eGov. So the first speaker will be Presenter, and is currently based at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, where he is shaping sustainable and inclusive sanitation and wastewater management strategies nationwide, that is in the nation of India. So he holds a Master of Science in Sanitary Engineering from 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, which is the Netherlands, and also this is preceded by degrees in Civil Engineering and Water Resources Engineering. Then our co-presenter also is 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, who leads the Citizen-Centric Public Services Initiative at eGov. He has successfully led large-scale multi-sector transformation programs across India and Africa, influencing governments, communities on complex challenges in education, ecosystem development for small and medium enterprises, and also natural resources management. So he holds an MBA from the Asian Institute of Management, Philippines, preceded by a degree in electronics engineering. He is also a big global fellow. Then, as part of the presenters, also have 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. She leads the eGov Academy, a capacity building initiative at eGov. She has led the implementation of the first WASH DPI for fecal sludge management in Odisha, India. So 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 has 8 years of experience in program design, delivery, and building local capacity focused on strategic partnerships between the government and the private sector. Then we also have 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 Abhishek steers strategic program management at eGov, advancing scalable solutions for digital urban innovation, championing data-driven decisions, and also a decision-centric governance. So he brings over 7 years of cross-sector experience. He has led digital urban transformation at eGov and managed major industrial and infrastructure projects at Vedanta Resources Limited. Abhishek holds an MBA from XIM University, India, preceded by a degree in civil engineering. Yeah, so this is the panel of our presenters, and we can welcome them. So at this point, of course, we've also, before I pass it on to the eGov team, as part of this webinar series, we've also put together like a learning document about the functionalities of the digital tool itself and platform. So which can be accessed on the WASH Labs website. But should you want more details on the functionalities and the setup of the digital platform itself, you can just scan the QR code that is being shown on the screen there, and you'll be able to see the details of how this platform is set up and its core functionality and also capabilities, because it's actually an open source tool that can be available, accessed by anyone. So at this point, I'll invite presenter to take us through the presentation for a start. So over to you, presenter.
Thank you, Kapenda, for this wonderful introduction of the team. I have the unique, opportunity of working with Odisha government and this wonderful team of eGov. This is the story of Odisha's non-sewered sanitation. Prior to I will give a background of Odisha. As you know, India has 1.4 billion population, and Odisha boasts 47 million population, out of which around more than 7 million people reside in urban areas. So prior to 2017, we were implementing sewer solutions. We had one city having complete underground sewer system with STPs and all, and we implemented 4 cities with sewer network. But then 2017 became a landmark when when the government of Odisha notified the Odisha urban sanitation policy. There, the decision was taken that for small towns means towns with population of 100,000 and less, would implement non-sewered solution because of the typical socio-economic conditions and various other factors. So out of 115 towns and cities in Odisha, so then 109 towns became eligible for non-sewered sanitation. But in fact, we started implementing in all the cities. Even in cities having sewer solutions, we found there are many households that needed to be provided fecal sludge management services. So we started building FSTPs and also all the value chain dislodging operations and all those activities. And in 2021, as we started moving, improving, building and establishing fecal sludge management FSM value chains, to improve the capacity, to optimize the capacity of our plants treatment systems, we included rural areas, the villages and all nearby the cities. So that became a feature. So we started leading in the country in non-sewered sanitation, and our rural urban convergence, it became a manual, and it was adopted by the national government in 2020. And in the same year, we were again the pioneers of in the country. We first built the co-treatment STP in a town called Puri, and that system also featured in as a national guideline, where one need not build a standalone fecal sludge treatment plant. Fecal sludge can be also co-treated in a STP. So that we also saw. We also had the unique opportunity of implementing the water operator partnership with GWOPA. So that was 2022 to 24. It was a 3 years program. And while implementing all this program, we also developed a SOP for co-composting or sludge reuse. And in the meanwhile, we partnered with eGov, which I will tell you in the next slide. They assisted us in implementing the digit for digitalizing the entire value chain. So that was the first in the country, and the fruits were realized in 2024. That digitalization of FSM service was again featured in a national compendium this year. To talk a little bit about our fecal sludge management and FSTPs. Our FSTPs are, nature-based solutions. They are based on DWATs and sludge drying technology. In each of the FSTP, we have a 10 kilowatt solar-powered system which is connected to the grid. In the sense that the FSTPs, though they don't use any power, they don't use any chemicals, but still they use some power for operating small pumps and yard lightings. So they are all energy neutral. And one significant feature of this program is that the plants are all managed by women and transgender self-help groups. And in each of this plant, we have a laboratory, and these are all operated by a woman. She is a graduate in chemistry. She is given all the trainings how to operate the lab. They conduct the various tests, and also guide the operation of the plant. Next slide, please. Now coming back to the digitalization of FSM service in Odisha, in India, you will hear from my team. I had the unique opportunity of working with 𝗪𝗪𝗀 and the entire eGov team, and they're all wonderful. They have done very wonderful work. You will hear much about the process and how it was adopted. But I will tell you that this is the first in the country, first in Odisha, in applying this digit in fecal sludge management in non-sewered sanitation. So we had a wonderful MOU that we signed in 2019. In fact, digitalization of service was there in various municipal services. For example, the building permission and such services. But FSM was new. It was not there in the country. So what we did in 2022, when it actually started, it went through a lot of iterations. The first phase was piloted in 3 towns. So once that was done, it was immediately rolled out to 33 towns and cities. So I remember in those days, we used to have weekly call with all the towns and cities which we selected, and we looked at their performance, the various aspects of when you roll out, there will be many hiccups, there will be many data that they need to fill, so you need to train them. So many of their people from the municipalities, the FSTP lab operator, they were trained in these activities, and the eGov team will tell you the detailed process. I don't want to disclose the detailed process here. So we rolled out phase 1 for 33 towns and cities, and next year in 2023 we rolled out to another 33 towns, and this year it has been rolled out to further 44 towns and cities, thereby saturating all the urban local bodies in Odisha, where we have already established this FSTPs and happening. Now, what this digit platform allows to us, how it is helping us. So here, previously the desludging service, if there is a need, the citizen would go to the municipality office, they will make a request, they will make a payment there. So it was all manual system. Now everything is online now. One need not go to any office. So it is a single window system, and it is a platform where the municipality will, once a request is there, they will assign the operators. They can also collect the desludging fees, and they will also monitor whether the sludge that is collected by the operator is discharged in FSTP or it has gone to somewhere else, or whether it is illegally discharged. Now, why we did it? What advantage we reaped from this process? For me, when I was heading the Odisha Water Supply and Sewerage Board, my task was building infrastructure was not sufficient, but to determine whether services were provided by the municipalities was very important to us. And to know that, the main one would be, if I can look at the capacity utilization of my fecal sludge treatment plant, then that will be a great indicator that I know, okay, sludge is coming, it is not going elsewhere. So this platform allows in helping in understanding which of these FSTPs are realizing the capacity, and which are not having utilization is very low, maybe less than 10% or maybe less than 25%, or some plants are going beyond 50%, some are reaching even 75% or 80%. So that gave a broad understanding of cities or towns which are doing better or providing actual services. And if it is not providing the service, or if the capacity utilization is less, the reason behind that, what is the reason, whether the desludging services is adequate, whether the vehicles are in operation, whether they are available, whether they are out of service. So all those information could be captured, could be analyzed. And the next advantage is that since the rural areas were integrated into our system, so villages we started with 10 kilometers radius, then we expanded further. So we wanted to know how many what is the contribution from the rural areas and what is the contribution from the urban areas or the peri-urban areas. So this platform allowed us to understand that also. And the other interesting is that if there are some unregistered vehicles, the regulation says that all the cesspool operators, they need to be registered with the cities, with the municipalities. So if there are still vehicles not registered, maybe from bordering state or somewhere, still if they discharge in the city, if they discharge in the plant, that also we would know which of these, because they are all allowed to discharge free. We didn't charge any fee for dislodging services. So all the vehicles, if they provide dislodging services to the citizens, they can come to the plant and they can discharge free of cost. So we would capture which of these vehicles are not yet registered, and we started also the procedure of registering them. And the last but very important is the trip closure at the FSTP. Within a week or within a month, we are able to know how many requests we received, what amount we received, and whether all those dislodging that happened, whether it came to FSTP or it was discharged elsewhere. So that was also, it was possible. So even without a GPS in the vehicle, we would be knowing which of these vehicles dislodged but didn't come to FSTP by simply tallying the volume of requests that we received and discharge that is taking place in FSTPs. So in a sense, it gave us a lot of ideas, a lot of knowledge, a lot of insights, and helped us in mobilizing our team. How do we improve the this capacity utilization? How do we understand whether the dislodging services are adequate or not? What are the shortcomings in the city government, municipalities? So sitting, earlier when the Digit platform was not there, it was very difficult for us to collect all this information. So that was a landmark, you can say a game changer in the country. It was very useful for our state. And now this has become, the national government has started adopting this Digit platform, and there is a compendium that has come out, and our eGov team is, very eager to help everywhere in different states. And we are thankful to even Dev-Afrique for giving this platform to us. Now I stop here and I hand over to 𝗪𝗪𝗀 to take us forward and to give a detailed overview of the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, 𝗪𝗪𝗛𝗃, and it's been an incredible partnership with the Odisha government and with Mr. Prashantha 𝗪𝗪𝗛𝗃's very capable team to really be able to take this forward. I think so there are a lot of collaboration in the initial days with the government, with a lot of the partners who were on the ground, the civil society partners who kind of brought all of this together. And we're also thankful to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for the support in seeing this through. I just thought I will take a few moments to introduce eGov. So this is a segue between what you heard about the final work which is happening in Odisha, and my colleagues who will then kind of take you through what the FSM platform is all about. I also want to thank Dev-Afrique for this opportunity to be able to share what we have learned and what we have been able to demonstrate in India on FSM. So as eGov, our mission is to make every citizen's life better by enabling transparent, equitable, and accessible public services for all. If I were to expand this a little bit more, our whole mission is how do we kind of work and set up systems between government entities which offer public services and with citizens, so that there is a trusted interaction which happens at every point in time between these stakeholders. And as a result of this, we also kind of work a lot with the ecosystem to kind of make sure that both of these sides become efficient and function well. Okay. So a little bit more about how do we kind of bring this mission to life. There are three ways that we look at ourselves as catalyzing the public service delivery with the governments. You heard a lot in the initial part from our Odisha counterpart on the Digit platform, and that's something that you will get to hear more as we go ahead. Along with that, what we also ensured is that we needed to build sufficient capacity from within the government. So when Mr. Prashantha Mohapatra said that the last part of FSSM of 44 ULBs has now led to saturation of the state, the important thing to kind of also note is that that entire rollout to the remaining 44 was done entirely by the state. So eGov did the first few of the urban local bodies, but we built enough capacity that the government could then take it up and roll it out themselves to the rest of the state. We also look at how we can bring in various market systems, market actors, because that's when we believe that the whole story gets complete, because markets are now able to build on the innovation, build on the infrastructure that the government has provided, and as a result of which these three factors help catalyze what we do. We work in various sectors. A lot of our work over the last 20 years has been in municipalities, in building trusted systems on local governance. Over the last 4 years, post-COVID, we have also moved into new sectors like health, water and sanitation, finance, and a few more. So we also have expanded globally as part of our work. We right now work in 9 different countries, and we do have 200 plus partners who have been working with Digit in some form of the other. Some of our metrics have also been in terms of trying to mobilize revenue for the various partners, and as a result of this, because of government's interest and because of the overall ecosystem kind of moving towards better digital systems, close to about $2 billion of revenue have been mobilized, where people participate, people used various technology platforms, and this is specifically around Digit. Okay. Just a quick journey of how we have transformed over the last 20 plus years. So obviously, as you can see from the dates, we started off pretty early on at a time when digitization was just picking up in India. We were founded by one of India's leading IT entrepreneurs, and at that point in time, we were learning what does IT mean for government systems. So we kind of looked at point solutions. We were working in the city of Bangalore and trying to get a handle of how can actually digital bring better, better systems, better efficiency in government systems which actually operate for citizens. And these would be area of municipal services like revenue, property taxes, and services like those. And over a period of time, we realized that this platform can also not just serve one city, but it can with just one solution. But you can actually start creating an array of services for a city. Then our transformation happened when we kind of moved towards what we looked at. How can we kind of create a digital infrastructure where not just one city, but an entire state or a county in the context of a few countries who are represented here can see this happen at scale. So we kind of shifted our thinking more to look at, is there a way that we can address scale? Is there a way we can do it fast? So as a result of which innovations can reach the government faster, citizens can get benefited far more quickly. So as we were trying to do that, we realized that this was an area that governments seemed to appreciate, and looking at the kind of work that we were doing with various governments, we realized that we are going to run out of capacity very soon. And then we needed to pivot to a different model. And this is around 2019 to 2021, where we started looking at how can we bring in more and more partners who can then take this journey forward. So it doesn't have to be eGov at the center, but there are a network of partners who can now take up what is an open source digit platform and use this in their different contexts. So as and when this started happening, there was a lot of innovation which happened, and different partners came and they started kind of looking at different sectors in which they could move to. So, these are the kind of sectors that different partners have been able to take Digit to. On the right-hand side is the platform or the areas where eGov has deep expertise in, whether it is in local governance, sanitation, public finance, and health. And on the left-hand side, you would see how an open source platform can actually be used in different contexts. So the various civic society partners, government partners have kind of all come together, and they have seen how to solve for legal pendency in courts, how to kind of offer better advisory services into case of farmers. So that there's a team which is looking at incident management on solar energy at primary health centers, how industries are looking at better services to their consumers. So this is a story of how a single platform can be used depending on how people have reimagined different use cases. I will, can you please move on to the next slide? Yeah, I will now hand it over to Shrija, my colleague, who will then deep dive into the FSMPs. Thank you.
Thank you, Avik. Kapanda, if I can share the screen. Thank you so much. So to begin with, I will ask all the participants on the call. We'll take 2 to 3 minutes to just retrospect and test our knowledge about FSM. So I will request everyone to take their phone and scan the QR code given. I think there will be also a Menti link that will be shared on the chat box. Please use that link and the QR code to access the quiz. Very few and very basic questions. So once done, please give a thumbs up so that we know to start. Once you're scanned. Has everyone able to scan the QR code? Awesome. Okay. So I see the responses are coming in. So I guess that people have scanned. Let's start with the first question. The first question is, according to WHO or UNICEF Joint Monitoring Program data, what percentage of the world's population currently lacks safely managed sanitation? So I'll spend approximately 20 seconds on this question and see how many answers. Over 65% is the highest. Okay. Any more guesses? Quick. So, okay, the answer is nearly 50%. So according to WHO report, approximately 3.6 billion population, which is half the population of Earth, the global population has a non-sewered sanitation network. So that makes it nearly 50% with very, very unsafe managed sanitation access. Second questions, we'll move to second question now. I'll read it out for everyone. In many low-medium income countries, the vast majority of septage collected from NSS, which is non-sewered sanitation, is managed by informal operators. What is the most common fate of this septage? If you can have quick answers. Oh, I see one. Okay. Okay, I think our audience is well aware of it. So there has been studies across Africa, Asia, Latin America, showing that the weakest link for the entire waste value chain that we talk about is transport and disposal. So we got the right answer. Next, we'll move to the third question, which is, of all the household wastewater generated globally, how much is estimated to be discharged into the environment without safe treatment? Oh, I think the guess has been taken from the first answer, but the answer for this is, let's wait for another 2-3 seconds. The answer for this is over 80%. So over 80% of the wastewater that has been collected, be it black water, gray water, is disposed into the environment without proper treatment. The last question to end with the Mentimeter is, what is approximately realistic lifespan that we talk about for the pits if properly used and regularly emptied? So these are the twin pits, septic tanks, toilets that we talk about. So what do you think is the approximate lifespan of these toilets that we are building for non-sewered sanitation? Good guesses. Another 10 seconds, I guess. Okay, whoever has given this one answer is the right one. So 50 plus years is the lifespan if it is maintained properly, if it is desludged properly, and if the twin pits and the septic tanks are constructed properly. So that's the answer. We'll just now quickly transition to our presentation. So like we have already seen what does it mean for the waste value chain? What does it mean with the global population having non-sewered connection? Let's look at what do we even mean by waste value chain? What do we call waste value chain as? So it looks something like this, where the waste is being generated till the reuse and disposal. So there is an area, there is a property, or there is a place where waste is being generated. There is a containment where this is stored or emptied, and then segregation happens there. There is then the transport that connects it. The transportation takes it to a treatment facility where it is being treated. And then after this safe treatment has happened, the treated wastewater is discharged or reused as a compost or manures, and the water is discharged into the environment safely. When you look at the entire waste value chain and in this manner, you will see that almost every waste that we generate, be it FSM, the fecal sludge, be it solid waste, be it used water management, be it e-waste or medical waste, everything has almost similar value chain that we see. When we talk about FSM value chain, there are multiple stakeholders who are affected by the value chain, be it citizens, be it the local governing bodies who are responsible for providing services, be it desludging operator who are responsible for carrying or transporting the septage, be it sanitation worker who are helping us to clean our septic tanks, or be it the treatment plant operator. Let's look each one of them and understand their pain points and see how we can resolve their issues. From a citizen point of view or an institution point of view, they don't have ease of access to the desludging services. Most of the times what citizens do is they usually take numbers that are given to them illegally available because they don't have a standard operation process with them, who to call, when to call, where to call. So for them, the access of the service becomes difficult. And apart from access, even if the service is provided to them, a lot of time what we have observed is it is always asked as an emergency. So the service to be delivered on time becomes most important. From an administrative point of view or a local governing point of view, it is lack of visibility of vehicles, cesspool vehicles, lack of visibility of desludging operator, lack of visibility of sanitation worker. For them to maintain and allot or assign these vehicles to provide service access to citizens becomes very difficult. And because the data with them is not enough to make decisions. From a desludging operator point of view, it is all about safety because they are dealing with some of the very toxic gases and materials at the point of containment. So it becomes very difficult for them. And also, they don't know where to provide service and when. From a sanitation worker's point of view, because they are already doing so much, how are they getting paid on time? Are they getting paid on time? From their health point of view, are they giving the PPE kits or the kits that is required for them to operate certain services? From a treatment plant operator point of view, it is the changing standards because there is no formal treatment infrastructure that has been created or an operational guidelines or a benchmark that has been given to them. So they are also confused. What can we do about it? Let's look at problem at each of the FSM value chain, and then what we'll do is we'll dive into the product, the platform, the Digit platform, which deals with the entire FSM value chain. From a containment point of view, when we look at the problem, it is the absence of information to enforce standardized on-site sanitation. When we look at containments that are being created around us, we will see n numbers of containments, which doesn't hold the standards, which will be as per the requirements, because geographically it is also important to create certain kinds of pits at a certain area. So that absence of information is also very, very important to understand, because of which all these problems are being created. From an emptying transport perspective, the problem is untraceability of the vehicles. Does the vehicle already reach the point of desludging? Have they completely desludged the septic tanks? Are they safely transporting the material, the septage and the sludge? Or are they illegally disposing somewhere? So there is lack of chain of custody. Who is owning the septage? Where is it traveling? Where is it traveling to? And then there comes a safe disposal of septage. From a treatment reuse perspective, the problem is waste to value. What is happening when the septage or sludge is reaching the treatment plant? Do they have enough machines, enough materials, enough lab testing reports to tell that everything that has been tested or treated in the lab are being safely managed and disposed in the environment? Because there is lack of visibility of the treatment reports at the lab itself. There comes the Digit FSM. How we see it is, what it does, it contains and it encloses the loop from the containment to reuse and disposal. So look at from a service delivery perspective, any citizen can raise request, ask for request from multiple channels. They can call, they can visit, they can even use WhatsApp kind of social media platforms to raise requests. So service delivery from a citizen's point of view becomes easy. From a local body perspective, it becomes easier for them to have visibility of who is asking for services. For them, it also becomes easy because they have transport management, which is provided on the platform Digit, which simplifies. And like Prashanta sir has already explained, that there was one of the things that we did in Odisha is identifying cesspool vehicles, because a lot of cesspool vehicles are currently and many a times have been registered under RTO as water tanker. So it's very difficult to understand which is a water tanker and which is a cesspool vehicle. So transport management, where we are identifying which is the cesspool vehicle, we are registering it and giving them an access, giving them a different identity of cesspool vehicle, which helps also the local bodies to understand what are the legal drivers and legal vehicles available on the city, and also from a citizen point of view, if when they raise a request. From a treatment operation perspective, we have a treatment quality monitoring product module, where we can actually see all the treated parameters that is done for sludge and septage, and basis that we can actually take decision of how are we even if the treatment plants are working correctly, the labs are working correctly, and if safely we are disposing the treated material into the environment. Last is it provides verifiable and real-time data. So as and when any transaction is happening, say a citizen calls for a service, desludging vehicle is assigned for that service. The desludging vehicle has cleaned the septic tanks and is taking and transporting the material to treatment plant till it is getting reused. Every data is being captured as and when the activity is happening. So that provides a real-time data for the administrator to have a view of what is happening, and so that they can also course correct and they can take decisions based on the data. So with this, I will stop and I will hand it over to Abhishek, who will give you a live demo of the entire Digit FSSM platform. So Abhishek, over to you.
Thank you, Srija. Let me share my screen. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the attendees joined across the globe in this webinar. Is my screen visible all?
Yes.
Yeah. So as explained by my previous panelist, like this Digit FSSM is covering service delivery, transport management, treatment quality, and the real-time dashboards and all. So to see that how that has been implemented in the context of India, so that I'll be showing you the live demo. So in this demo environment that has been created, so the regional language has been also present over here, like you can see in Odia, which is one of the regional languages in the country. So that can be also contextualized in the purpose of Africa. So we have two basic accounts to be used while we are using this Digit FSSM. One is from the city side, the city administrator point of view, who will be using the account, who will be taking the request from the citizens and all. And another one who will be using it from the FSTP or from the fecal sludge treatment plant side. So there will be two account users in this module. So first I'll be showcasing how a citizen when comes or through the telephone channel comes to the ULB or receives a call, how that has been recorded from the ULB side or the city side or the town side account. So now I am logging into this account as an city administrator or an city user who will be using this account to record the request that is coming from the citizens. So here you are seeing under 𝗓𝗏/management one option, new dislodging application. So whenever a citizen either through telephonic call or through visit to the ULB office or the city office comes, that must be recorded in this web page or application. So here we have the application which is saying about counter, whether the person has come to the counter or he or she has called over telephone. Let me select the counter. Then I have to fill the applicant name, then the mobile number, then the gender, which is optional, which can be left blank also if required. Then here we have the provision of entering the property details. There are various properties like residential properties, commercial properties, institutional or government properties. So depending on the citizen's preference, like where the city or the household is located, this is selected. And based on these three criteria, also you have the drop down for the property subtypes. Here, let's say residential, it has three property subtypes. Similarly, if it is commercial, then it will be having sports center, resort or petrol pumps, warehouse and all. So let me select suppose residential and it's an independent house. Then the city is by default selected because while I logged in as an city administrator or a city user, so initially I use the city name as Victoria, which is predefined. Then the property location, whether it is within the city or it is outside the city, because we have also the provision of urban rural convergence in the country of India and the state of Odisha, where we are catering to the request or the dislodging requests that are coming from our peripheral areas that is present at the outskirts of the city or nearby to the 20-kilometer radius, the gram panchayats or the villages that are present over there. So let me select here the trip has come from or the request has come from within the city. So here I have to select the locality. If it is located in a special zone like special economic zone or protected area, that can be selected. Then here we have the provision to record the pit or septic tank details if at all it is known by the citizen. Otherwise, it can be left blank. Like in the pit type, we are seeing whether it's a septic tank with soak pit or conventional tank, that can be mentioned over here. If suppose the citizen says that I have a septic tank with soak pit, but I don't know the dimension, that can be completely left blank. This has been kept in view of capturing data and details from the household level, because in case of India, we have an civil engineering environmental code, that is IS 2470, according to which the septic tank needs to be designed. So as such, if these data are being captured for further formulation and algorithms can be created, like what are the data being captured and how the citizens are being well known about the septic tanks, this provision has been given over here. Then depending upon the conversation between the citizen and the person who is using this account on behalf of the city, so there might be various scenarios, like for this particular household, the approach road through which the vehicle or the cesspool vehicle will go and reach the household level, if that is narrower, if that is wider, if the household has much more population and the bigger septic tank. So depending on those discussions, the volume of the cesspool vehicle needs to be chosen over here. So now here we have 1000 volume vehicle, 2000 and 10,000 volume of the vehicle. So depending on the city which has the volume of vehicle, accordingly this will be selected, and the number of trips, this can be manually filled whether it's one trip or two trip. Let's say we are having selecting one trip for 1000 volume of vehicle. So the system is being designed in such a way that the price will be auto populating, like for each trip of 1000 volume of vehicle, 650 is the total amount. If I increase this by 2, the total amount increases to 1300 rupees. Let's assume I am doing it for one trip as of now. And here we have the provision to collect an advance amount before the onset of the dislodging request of the trip. Like once the trip has not yet started, if the citizen is saying that I am able to pay certain advance amount, that can be also collected over here. Let's say I am collecting 200 rupees out of this 650. Then simply after filling all these basic details, I have to click on the submit application. So now the application number is created. So after the application is created, based on the discussion with the citizen, either through telephone or through the counter, it will be then showcased in the inbox of this account. So this is the application that I created at present. So here in the application timeline, you will see how the process flow of this one. First, the application was created. So as the total amount was 650 and the advance amount is 200. So the next step is pending payment. So for an user who is not that much tech savvy or that much not user, like what are the next step that must come in, so he or she might refer to this timeline for the next procedure, that is for pending for payment. So he or she needs to collect the payment from the citizens. Now I have to click get take payment. Here we have the provision of collect payment, also reject, because in certain cases, if after creation of the application, the citizen said that I am not available, although I raised the application, then it can also be rejected. So going for the ideal process, that is collect payment, sort of 650 we are collecting 200, so it can be paid either by the owner or by any other person who is present at his or her house. So all these payment modes are there according to your country. Whatever payment modes are relevant, that can be also integrated over here. So after that, I have to click here generate receipt. Then we have got the print receipt option where it will generate the receipt. So here you are seeing that one. So this print receipt can be also given over WhatsApp to the citizen. Then after the collection of the payment, then we'll again go back to the inbox to take further action on that particular application. In the first step, what we did, we created the application, selected the volume of the vehicle. In the second step, we collected the advance amount. Then in the third trip will be the pending of the DSO. DSO stands for desludging operator or cesspool operator or cesspool contractor who is owning certain set of cesspool vehicles or a single cesspool vehicle. So based on this application that I have done, so here we have selected the vehicle volume as 1000 volume of the vehicle. It may so happen that a particular city might be owning 2 set of 1000 volume of vehicle or 3 set of 1000 volume of vehicle, or a particular single cesspool operator or contractor might be owning 2 or 3 set of 1000 volume of vehicle. So now the next process is assigning this particular cesspool operator or the desludging operator. So you have the option over here, assign DSO. So here we are seeing this particular city, that is the city name Victoria, has two cesspool operators who are both owning 1000 volume of vehicle. So depending on that, depending on the availability, if there is certain vehicle breakdown happening, that can be also taken into consideration while opting this process. Then let me select here one of the DSOs. So as today I'll be showing in the demo and completing the entire process flow. The expected date of completion here I've selected is today's date itself, that is 16/10/2025. Next, I have to click on assign. So here you are saying the service date is today, pending for DSO approval. So we have done like the DSO or the desludging operator approval. So as I rightly mentioned before few minutes that a single DSO might be owning 2 sets of 1000 volume of vehicle. So that particular desludging operator or the cesspool contractor needs to assign which vehicle of 1000 that needs to be assigned to this particular application, right? So then we have this take action option where you have to go on add vehicle and workers. So in this 1000 volume, but this particular case, this one vehicle is being shown. In your city, 2 vehicles registration number can also be seen over here. So we have to select the vehicle registration number, who will be the assigned driver, that will be also selected, who will be the assigning sanitation worker or the helpers will be going with the driver for the desludging at the citizen's household level. That provision is also there. So that once it is selected, then we have to click on assign. By this process, what we are doing is that as desludging is one critical activity for an urban sanitation point of view. So who are the cesspool vehicles? Who are the persons who will be going as a driver? Who will be going as an helper? All these database is being recorded in this system. So now the DSO, that is the desludging operator, goes to the citizen's household level and does the desludging for this one trip. So let's assume that after the one trip, the citizen feels that there are remaining much more sludge or septic in the septic tank of his household. He or she prefers that, can I go for another more desludging, another request or another trip? Then based on that conversation, we have the option for update scheduled trips. So here initially the citizen requested for one trip, which can be further increased to 2 or 3 depending on their conversation and the feasibility of that area. So now we have increased from 1 trip to 2 trip and we have to click on update trips. So initially this 650 was for 1 trip. Now you'll see it has been improved to increase to 1300 rupees and the advance amount that is paid is 200. So once these 2 trips is done, so in the second desludging trip, so now the citizen has to pay the remaining amount to the city administrator or the desludging operator, whosoever is assigned for that city. So now you will see the collect payment option will be showing. Take action, collect payment. So collection of the payment for the remaining amount, that is 1100, will be done in the same process that the advance amount was given. So we have to click on the generate receipt and the payment is collected. Then we have to go back to the home page. Now what happened for this particular application that is ending with 000122, we have two trips. And for the two trips has been taken from the dislodging has been done from the citizen house, and the all the amount, that is 200 initially, then remaining 1100 has been collected from the citizen side. So once these two things, one is the number of trips that has been assigned to this particular application number is being done dislodging, and the total amount that has been charged for these two trips is being collected, this particular account user or the city account user, what he or she will do, take action, complete the request. In this, all the pre-filled data will be there as per our primary selections. Here we also have the provision to upload the photo if anything related to the sanitation PPE kits or to the behavior of the driver, if that has come to the account of the citizens, or any complaints or anything that can be uploaded in terms of application or photographs. And then you have to click on completed. By this, what happens is that we created the application, then we collected the advance amount, then after that we assigned the dislodging operator of the cesspool contractor, then after that we assigned the cesspool vehicle, the driver, the sanitation worker or the helper in that particular step, then we collected the remaining amount after the trip was increased from 1 trip to 2 trip or 3 trip. If suppose the citizen says that initially I requested for 1 trip, I want to stick to 1 trip, that can be also maintained as it is. Then the final step, after the collection of the payment of the remaining amount, we have to complete the trip. So this is all the process flow of this particular account. Then what happens, one of the questions that were seen in the chat, like how without GPS it is being tracked or it is being monitored through this database, we'll be going and switching to the next account, that is the FSTP account. So before going on to the FSTP account, as I am in this page and considering the paucity of time, I want to also show here the dashboard, what are the parameters that are being shown in this dashboard, like the total for this particular date range for all the districts or in particular city. You can see the data related to the amount collected in crores, lakhs and unit, like what the total number of requests that has come from the citizen, what the total sludge treated, the average FSM cost, the total revenue collected, the SLA complaints. What is the SLA? We have defined the time when the request or the application has been created in the system and the final trip closure at the FSTP, what is the duration it taken. So that is over here, the citizens average rating or the feedback, top performance of the ULB, bottom performance of the ULB. As it is an demo account, here you are seeing only one city. If multiple 10, 15, 16 and 100, 200 cities are there, so who are the top and bottom performers, top 5 and bottom 5, it can be also shown over here. So application sourced by the locality, village, gram panchayat, the total sludge from the locality, or it's from urban areas or from rural areas, that can be also tracked over here. So which type of properties are raising the request, how much, distribution by the gender categories, and the most important is the FSTP capacity utilization. The design capacity of the FSTP, let's say of each FSTP plant is 10 KLD. This 10 KLD is designed as with a projected population for the upcoming 20-50 years. But at present, if it is used to a certain amount that has been set by the city or the country administrator, then if it is at all using that much amount of the capacity of the plant or not, that can be also tallied over here. And district wise, that request, how much request has been created, how much is open, how much is closed, the SLA, the fees that is collected, the revenue is being generated, everything can be captured over in this dashboard by the city administrators and the ULB or the country officials. So now, like this one is the city administrator account or the ULB administrator account. Now for all these 3 trips or the 2 trips that are created from this account, how this has been tracked and disposed or not at the FSTP or the plant side, if fecal sludge treatment plant side, for that I have to log out from this account. I have to log into the FSTP side account or where the fecal sludge treatment plant is located. So I have to log in with that credentials. So after logging in, this is the landing page of the FSTP plant side account, where we'll be seeing all the requests that has been raised from the city account. That will be shown in the inbox of the FSTP account. So we created one application with an ending digit of 122. Here we are seeing 122. It is present 2 times. Why 2 times? Because for this particular application number that is ending with 122, it has 2 trips, for which it is shown application 2 trips. but vehicle number will be different, that is ending with 121 and 120. So for each trip, once it comes and disposes at the FSTP, so in case of our country, India, and the plant that has been set up, each ULB or each city, each town, they have their own inbuilt FSTP plant and their in-house fecal sludge treatment laboratory setup. So all these plants, they have then technical resource person or the lab chemist, as rightly mentioned by my initial co-panelist, Mr. Prashant Mahapatra sir. Like each FSTP plant, they have this TRP, who are the lady who is managing the plant and operating during the chemical test. So he or she uses this particular account. So once he sees that this particular trip has come to the FSTP and disposes, then she needs to click on this particular trip. Simply here all the details as pre-feed in this ULB side account will be shown over here, and then next go on take action and submit. If she feels that there are certain discrepancies in terms of wearing the safety PP kits or there is any leakages in the safety vehicles, that can be mentioned in this additional details. And also the attachments here provides the attachments for the various photographs that needs to be attached if at all required. It is not mandatory. So here simply take action and submit. So what happens is that in the dashboard or in the data mart reports that gets generated, we can see that the particular application that was raised from the city account, it is being closed at the FSTP account at what time? That is on 16th October 1447. So the system generate time, it will be taking into consideration. We can know the SLA period of that. Similarly, for the remaining, here we are earlier seeing 2 trips, now 1 trip is left. So suppose for due to certain forbidden changes, if the vehicle trip doesn't come to the FSTP due to some vehicle breakdown or certain other issues, we have also the provision of take action, decline vehicle. And we have to also select the drop down, like the vehicle is under maintenance or anything is happened to the vehicle for which the vehicle didn't come. So for that reason, we have the option to do the decline option, decline vehicle. This completes the entire value chain, like the request has been raised from the city account, it is being closed at the FSTP account, or it is being declined at the FSTP account. Then comes one of the critical factors for all these FSTP plants are that they have to abide by the rules and regulation of that country, of that state. Like all the treatment is done as per the set benchmark value. Like we have blood pressure, diabetes and all. So we have a set of benchmark that within this range, if it is happening, then we can say that it is all good and okay. If it is crossing that benchmark, then we are not okay and much more attention needs to be given. So for that, we have the feature called treatment quality, where it monitors like all the lab test reports that are being done in the FSTP plants by the lab chemist, whether it is as per the benchmark value set by the government or it is crossing that. So for that, what happens is that we are seeing this treatment quality. Let me again go back. So here we have to click on the treatment quality. So in this, we will so go to the inbox. Here you are seeing the scheduled desludging or the treatment test that needs to be captured at this platform. So by this, what I mean is to say is that in case of our country, what happened is that within an interval of 15 days or 30 days, we can be set at per your convenience. Each desludging request, the treatment of the trips, whether it is done or the plant is being captured over here. So here you are seeing that one desludging treatment quality test report needs to be submitted by the date 15th/10. Similarly, one needs to be submitted by 16th/10. So this you can set as per your frequency. So you have to go to that and submit all these details related to the plant quality monitoring or the treatment quality monitoring, which covers entire parameter of pH, BOD, COD, TSS, TDS, also temperature. Everything can be captured depending on your priority. So after this, we have to go. Like here you are seeing 1 days overdue. That means it could have been submitted by yesterday. So here it will also say if you are going ahead and doing certain things not within that stipulated period of time. For this, we have to select the in-house lab, update the status. Then only you can select the criteria. Let's say I'm random data I'm putting over here. Let's say pH value, it's 12, it's coming of the treated waste. BOD, it's coming 34, COD 36, TSS 45. And we can have also the provision of save as draft. There are certain tests which will take to test for 3 days or 2.5 days, for which at a time we can do all the tests. We have the provision to save as draft. Once and only we get the other details, that can also be updated over here. So now we have also the provision of choosing the file or attachments or anything, photographs, anything we want to do over here. Then simply after filling all these details, we have to click on submit. and here one alert message will come. Then you have to click on submit. The lab details has been submitted successfully. We can see the summary. Here the test result will fail. Why? Because the pH value should be within the value of 7, but the data is related to 12, for which it is in red color showing fail. So all these which are green, it has been passed. So it is related to the treatment quality monitoring that is captured in this platform. Similarly, you can see the view past results option, which are the tests that has been failed, which has been passed. So this was about the FSTP account. Yeah. So that's all from my side. Considering positive time, if presenter and Kapanda, can you say me if I can go ahead and show the demo for other features and functionalities that the platform has, or we are running out of time?
Yeah, so we just have like 5 minutes or so.
All
If you
right.
can quickly, yeah, maybe
Right.
just take 5 minutes, that would be good.
Right. 5 minutes is sufficient. So one thing that we saw, like while we were implementing this project in our country, is that so it must be so user friendly that the people can use it efficiently. For that, we have a feature called workbench. By this, what you mean that you saw like all these test quality results, is it passing, it's failing. So by this, in general, normal softwares, what they do, they rely on some backend software engineers, developers to change all these parameters, data, add and all. So we have set a workbench. Why workbench? What I mean, once I show the demo, you'll be seeing that. So let me log into this workbench demo. This can be done at the state level or at the ULB level based on the priority we set. So this one state from the overall or country side account, or you can say at the state side account or province account. From that, for a particular city, let's say I'm working on the Victoria city. So how I'm managing the master data without being relying on any software engineers or developers once the product or the project has been handed over to the department or handed over to the country or the province. So here I have to click on workbench. Let's say I was working on the feature called PQM, or the plant quality monitoring or the treatment quality monitoring. So I want to set data for that regular interval of 20 days. I want these tests must be populated in the FSTP side account, for which the plant needs to submit the data at those regular interval of 20 days. So I have to select from here the PQM. Then from that, I have to go here and select all these criteria individually. For paucity of time, I'm going directly to test standard so that I can show you like how this can be done simply by a non-tech guy also. So here we have the provision to add master data. So here you have to give a cost of, let's say, test standard. So a city might be having multiple plants, or in that plant I am selecting which plant that must be showcasing this test in their FSTP or the plant side account at which stage, like at the stage of aeration, or there are different stages of process as mentioned by my co-panelist Prashanta Mahapatra in the initial stage. Like this is based on the 𝗪𝗪𝗶 technology. This treatment, it's a nature-based solution with a gravity flow system. So in your country, if there are certain different process flow or the technology is being implemented, based on that which stage you want to do the testing. And this technology that is used over here is 𝗪𝗪𝗶 technology. It might be different in your context. Then at what point of time you want to do the testing? I want to do it at the final stage, right? So it will be the treated effluent I'm selecting over here. Then frequency, I can set how much days it will be populated. Like after 20 days, one scheduled test reports needs to be submitted and it will be showcasing in your inbox, for which the alert will come and you have to submit that. Let's say I'm selecting 20 days. The source will be the lab scheduled tests that must be carried on. Then here from the which test parameters that needs to be captured, I'm selecting pH, BOD. Similarly, other test reports can be added individually and then it will be showing in this drop down, which can be further selected, and you can click on add data. So once you have added, it will now show in this master data. Where, so like I was working for the PQM, that is the plant quality monitoring, and I selected test standard. So here I did the test, and you can see over here all the details are filled. Now what will happen is that in the plant city A of this Victoria city, now after 10 minutes it will take certain time, it will be showcasing in that, like today it will be showing, now is 16, after 20 days it will be again popping up in that account for the FSTP account user to fill up all these requested details for the treatment quality monitoring. That's all related to the workbench aspect, which can further be deep dived in due course of time. Thank you very much. Over to you.
All right, thanks very much, presenters, for that wonderful presentation. I think the eGov team has done justice to take us through the functionality of the Digit platform, focusing more, of course, on the FSM capabilities. But I thought so it's also good to see that the approach for eGov is actually to work with governments to try and see how they can digitize public service delivery, to make sure that the governments and also local authorities are digitizing their processes in terms of enhanced service delivery to the general citizens. So thanks very much. That was really wonderful from the team. I think we can give them a round of applause. So having reached this stage in our program, we'll take like a 5 minutes break just for people to freshen up. Then we'll come back where we'll now go into the question and answer session. So if you notice, I think the mics for the participants were muted, but after the break, we'll unmute so that we can give you an opportunity to ask the questions that you have. And if you don't mind, you can already start dropping your questions in the chat box, and we'll be able to read them when we come back from the break. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. I think the 5 minutes is over. So we'll quickly get back to the presentation just for the eGov team to wrap up, and then we'll thereafter transition into the question and answer session. Switch.
Sure. Thank you, Kapana. Thank you so much. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the demo. So just after Abhishek that he has presented, I just wanted to reiterate some certain facts that the entire product that he showed is completely customizable for the context it is required in. The product currently we showed was very much developed for state of Odisha, but it is flexible to be used elsewhere, and it will adopt to that place. The second point I wanted to just mention here is any of the IoT devices, the other system that are working. So the platform, the Digit platform also brings the principle of interoperability with the platform. So whatever product already exists, whatever system already exists, it can easily be integrated with this. So one of the examples we already did in Odisha, where one of the organization was working for sanitation worker for their beneficiary, the scheme beneficiary deliverability. So what we did is we integrated that with our system, and we were able to see how many sanitation workers were benefited from that scheme. Were there some sanitation worker which were not being able to access the schemes? So it easily interoperates with other system that is already there. It provides multiple channels, so citizens for any of the citizens access. So they can call, they can do WhatsApp, they can do they can reach out to the ULB and also raise a request. There can be also a modification that can be done if the automatic assignments of the vehicles are required. So given the cities are very small where we did this pilot in the state, and the vehicles were 2 to 3, it was easier for the ULB, the local administrator, to easily assign the vehicles. Given the states are, if the state is large and they want to run intercity vehicles, it's easy to bring that aspects as well. Bringing that, I'll just close. The problem statement that we started with, from the containment point of view, what we did in the digital, in terms of digital enablement was, Odisha did a fantastic job in bringing. So we started with looking at what is the on-site sanitation pit that exists in the city as of now. And it's like a black box. It's invisible for people, and it's invisible for the local government to actually see and take actions for it. They brought a notification to all the cities saying that any of the building permits that will be designed and approved going forward post 2023 should also comply with IS 2470, which is the standardized septic tank design. So bringing that into the building plan helps in bringing the data into the system. So in future, if they want to do a desludge, they'll know exactly which property, what kind of on-site sanitation pit is existing. Second, if you go to emptying and transport, there is a support for citizen channels. Like I said, multiple channels can be integrated. We can bring in bot, we can bring in call centers, we can bring in online applications, web application, and as well as app applications. There is registration of desludging operator that can be done, which Abhishek showed as workbench. Basically, it can be configured, and any of these operation, any of the benchmark, any of the standard can be created for the localized for the context that it will be used in. So once you register the desludging operator, identify and register, we can actually onboard them on the platform so that there is a visibility of how many desludging vehicles are running in the city or running in the locality. There is also a GPS tracking service that can be incorporated with the platform itself. As of now, it is not being used, so it's not shown here. We also have a separate module for entire transport and emptying. It's called vehicle tracking, which on the basis of the smartphone that a driver will use, we can actually geofence and identify where is the vehicle moving, which path or the route that they are taking, and has it also reached to the treatment plants or not. So there are two ways of doing it. One we already explained, and the other one is the vehicle tracking module if we integrate it with the current Digit FSM module. And last point that I want to mention here in emptying and transport is it also helps in ensuring that due diligence has been done for the safety of sanitation worker. For the treatment and reuse, again, tracking of FSTP operations becomes easy. So which vehicles are coming in, how much volume of septage has been disposed in the treatment plant, all that can be tracked and monitored. There is also lab report that my colleague has already shown, where we can actually add in the parameters, we can add in the benchmarks, and we can actually see what is the deviation if there are any. So so I'll close it here, and then we'll take the question given the time that we have. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Kapanda.
Yeah, thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for that wonderful wrap-up from Shrija. So at this point in time, I think we'll have the participants' mics unmuted so that we can go into the question and answer session. So please feel free either to drop your questions in the chat box. We'll be able to read them out and also give an opportunity to presenters to respond. Or if you have a direct question that you would like to ask, you can please just raise your hand up and then ask the question directly to the presenters. So we have already received some questions in the chat box that have come from Parachadran. So if you don't mind, please, maybe you can come on and ask this question directly. Or if not, I'll just go ahead and read them to the presenters to respond. Okay, so in the chat box, we have a couple of questions from Parachadran. The first question is, what kind of mobility stacks are available as part of the FSTP solution? That's the first question. Then the second question is, what is the typical IT team composition needed by the local bodies or the local authority to allow onboarding and help in transitioning? I bet it's transitioning to the Digit FSM platform. And question 3 is, can this be integrated? Can the entire system be integrated with an existing billing module, which is available separately for billing and also receipting customers? So those are the questions we have from the chat box. So maybe I'll allow the presenters just to tackle those. Then we can get another round of questions.
Yes. So the response has already been posted. We have shared the entire documentation. So we have the sanitation documentation available on our website. The link is posted on the chat box, which will give you the entire idea of what are these digital stacks that are already present. To your third question that I said, yes, it can be integrated with the existing billing modules because we have already used it here in India and in Odisha and other states. Any other thing what is the typical IT team composition? Avik, do you want to answer that?
Sure. This depends on the extent of customization that you need to do, Bala. So a typical IT team, like any other IT project, would kind of understand the requirements, look at what the gap is to the fitment, and depending on the amount of customization, you would typically need to see if you can have a team of at least a front-end, back-end tester and a QA person to kind of see this through. And if there are additional modules that need to be built, which is not there right now, there could be some modules already available in the Digit suite. And if that's also not there, then custom development would need to be done for those specific applications which you may want to add on to what's already there.
There's also one question: how can Zambian utility access this open source platform? From Moses.
Yes. Yes, please. Yeah, there's that question.
Yeah, so we will again, it's the same web link, and we'll again post it in the chat in this question. So the entire access to the source code is available on GitHub, and because this is open source, you're welcome to take this up and see what changes you need to make and deploy it. As part of the process, if you do encounter any questions, we would be happy to take you through that.
There's also one question from Fahim. So since in the demo, the city site admin account was shown in the last step, there was complete request button. How does the city site admin know that the request has been completed? What kind of information does the city admin need to receive to mark the request as completed? Okay, I'll take that question. Okay, you have already mentioned Abhishek, but for everyone, so we have decoupled two things. One is from a city point of view, the request completes starting from citizens accepting the request from the citizen till assigning the vehicle, and the vehicle has reached to the property and desludged. That's the complete request from the city admin point of view or the local administrator. After that, it depends on the vehicle reaching the treatment facility, where the entire complete of value chain happens, where the operator has to close the request saying that the vehicle has come, reached the facility and also desludged there. So that's how the entire FSM value chain closes.
So I think there's another follow-up question. Once the dislodging trips is completed at household level, and the trip amount is collected for all the trips, the request is completed from. So this is the response to the question that Treasurer was trying to respond to.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. All right. Please, for the participants, if there's any other questions that you might have, free to come on board and ask them. But maybe one question from my side as well. I just wanted to get a little bit more understanding if the platform itself has like a dedicated M&E module or capabilities that can help the local authorities or the utilities to be able to track the key performance indicators for the purposes of maybe managing their internal performance matrix, but also even reporting to the relevant regulators and also maybe any other bodies that are interested in managing the sanitation service delivery system. So do you have like M&E capabilities with KPIs built in for performance management and tracking?
Okay. Okay, I'll take a shot and then Abhishek also can add it. So KPI again depends on the stakeholders' point of view, what they want to see. From a small city point of view, they want to see how many vehicles, how many trips done per day, what is the location they are moving to. So the entire the product can be customized related to with respect to KPIs requested by the stakeholders. So at a state level, they will want to see a meta level data saying how many cities, what is the capacity utilization of the FSTP, how many total number of vehicles are there. So these are the key performance indicators maybe for a large state. But from a small city, it will be very specific to what are the number of requests coming in every day. I'm just giving an example. So using these KPIs, the entire dashboards and the workflow can be changed. Workflow can be designed. So KPI depends on the stakeholders' requirement, and what we need to show in the dashboard also can be configured according to the stakeholders we are designing the dashboard for. Abhishek, you want to add anything?
Yeah, so as rightly mentioned by Srija and also initially by our co-panelist Mr. Prashanta Mahapatra, like from state side, they were requirement in the context of Odisha is that FSTP capacity utilization. So the FSTP plant were designed with this much population with a estimate of let's say 10 years from now. But at present, we can't expand the FSTP to utilize total 100%. So initially, it will be using let's say 60% or 40% of the plant capacity, for which the state went ahead with the urban rural convergence program. Similarly, other parameters like the treatment quality monitoring, we have at present shown in the demo, let's say 5 parameters: pH, BOD, COD, TSS, TDS. If a city wants, they can include additional parameters, let's say temperature. What are the guidelines that are happening to their like in India, we have the National Green Tribunal, State Pollution Control Board, City Pollution Control Board. But in your country, what are the rules, guidelines, ministry says? So according to that, it is fully customizable, considering these are like Lego blocks and microservices architecture. So everything can be plugged in here and there over here. Yeah, over to you, Kapanda.
Okay, thanks very much. So there was another question, I think, on the chat from Mambwe. I was trying to find out the compliance levels among the SPs in terms of using the data. I mean, using the platform, and also maybe when it comes to accuracy in terms of submission of the data that is required from them. Yeah, so maybe you can just elaborate that on that a little bit. What are the general experiences that you've had so far with the acceptance of the system by the service providers? Okay.
So just reiterating, because the response has already been given in the chat box, I'm just reiterating that point, saying that the system, so there are two things. One is where you input the data, where you actually add in and pull in the data. The other is capturing of data as and when the activity is happening. So what our data system does, it captures the data when the activity is happening. For example, when the request is raised, that data is being captured at a citizen's level. Where is the property? What is the phone number? Very basic details to understand where the service is to be provided. When the desludging operator is assigned, that data is automatically captured in the system. Which vehicle, which driver, which locality, or which service has that been assigned to? When the vehicle reaches the property and they say close the services, that captures the amount of septage collected or desludging operation as completed from a property or a citizen's point of view. So these data point at different point in the value chain is being captured automatically in the system. Just by, when Abhishek, when he was showing that take action. So when they were taking action at certain activities that they were performing, the data is being captured then and there. So that's the real-time data. So they are not inputting any data. There is no field where they go and say, we have done or we have completed this. If they do it, they click on that button and the date, time, everything is being captured. So even if you want to see the SLA for, say, a desludging services, since the request raised till the treatment operator, that also can be calculated using the data that is being captured. So yeah, just reiterating that point.
And also one additional point, like due to paucity of time, we didn't show you the vehicle tracking feature or functionalities demo. In that also we have the feature, like if the particular successful vehicle reaches to the certain periphery of the fecal stress treatment plant, then automatically it will be showing that the trip has ended at the FSTP plant. So it is not only transactional, all these things are auto real-time mode, it is happening. Over to you, Kapanda.
Okay. I think so. Maybe riding on that, I think maybe could you just share some maybe incentives and initiatives that you put in place to make sure that the system is generally accepted by the service providers? Because I think one of the other issues that I think most local authorities and municipalities are grappling with within the sector is the issue of low adoption and also acceptability of such digital systems among especially the service providers when it comes to usage. So would you share some specific experiences maybe from the India perspective on how you managed to navigate such resistance? Yeah.
Sure, yeah. So adoption, of course, becomes a challenge, and we saw that when we were implementing the system. So the idea is, how do we make it so easy for the people who are using the system, and making their life easier in, whatever activities they are doing, rather than adding one more layer of complication to it. So Again, so there were different use cases that we identified in the state of Odisha that we were working in, and this state has 115 cities. Multiple cities had a kind of arrangement with the cesspool operator or a vehicle operator, where they'll work together and they will identify, and the way of operations also differs. So there were vehicles which were completely government owned and operated, which became easier because it was from the government and the system were easily adopted. There were vehicles which was government owned but privately run or operated. Again, there the adoption also was pretty easy. The third one were privately operated and privately owned vehicles, where the ULB owned the entire onboarding of the vehicle vendors and telling them that, because the service requests are received at a ULB level, they'll be providing the request. There will be certain amount or capping or the range that is to be provided according to the distance that they are traveling for these trips, and the entire amount will then go to the vehicle private vendors. So there was there were 3 modes of operation of these vehicles. Depending on the mode of operation, the pricing was then determined. Again, the pricing calculation can be configured on the platform. So depending on vehicle capacity, operations, and anything that is requested for the particular, in a particular context, can be then configured. So in the state, we did as volume of vehicle and the distance that was being traveled. And again, the basis of the operations, if that makes sense.
Okay, no, that's very wonderful to hear. Okay, I don't know if there's any further questions from the audience, but I've seen there was a further follow-up from we're trying to see if the system provides like interface with the citizens. I think it's already been handled. Yes, there is. Yeah. Okay, so we have one more question from Barbara. Are the service providers focused on making money? Are they consistent with using the system? I think it still gets back to the previous question that was asked in terms of consistency and compliance with usage of the system. So probably that has already been tackled, or you want to add more to that?
Again, that depends on the relationship that, and the amount and the understanding between the vendor and the local authorities. Because we are not telling them not to provide service or not to do certain things. The only incentive was just do it. I mean, they were getting the money that they were providing service for, and the money was completely transferred to them, and they had the access. The only thing that they were asked to do is to record these requests as and when these services were being provided. But I'm taking a step back from that, because even before the service and the acceptability from the private vendors are being talked about, it is important to even identify the cesspool operator which are illegally running in the cities or the states, because that becomes the roadblock for the government, because they don't even know how many vehicles are running in their area. So Odisha started with identifying, like Prashanta sir already mentioned, they started identifying the cesspool vehicles, they started registering them, they started talking to them, understanding their pain point and their point of view, to bring the coherence between the system so that they start using it. So again, I mean, it depends on how we want to take it up.
Yeah, sure. Thanks very much. So yeah, I think we've heard quite a lot from the Digit team, and also quite some insightful interactions that we've had with the audience in terms of the questions that have come through. And also, I think the presenters have done justice to make sure that they provide us with adequate answers to those questions. So at this point, I think we're almost coming to the end of our webinar today. So we'd just like to take this opportunity, of course, to thank everyone that joined us today for this wonderful discussion on the Digit platform. And we encourage you, everyone that is joined today and those that couldn't manage to join, to make sure that we can continue these discussions on the various platforms. These being the GWOPA community of practice, as well as the ESAWAS Engage, where we usually have these post-webinar engagements. So should you have any questions that you might have after this, feel free to get on those platforms and ask them, and then our team will do the best to relay them either to the eGov team for responses, and the adequate responses will be provided in that regard. So yeah, of course, we encourage you as well to just log into the WASH Data Labs website by scanning the QR code that has been shown in the presentation, and would like to, of course, keep engaging with you, our partners, in terms of how we can think through together the aspect of strengthening sanitation data systems, and also helping the local authorities and utilities to improve performance management and also overall sanitation service delivery. Yeah, so having said that, I think we've come to the end of the webinar. I think thanks very much the eGov team again once more for having time to present to us this wonderful platform, and we look forward for further engagements. And then maybe just one more last announcement is that we are coming back to you with further announcements on further upcoming events in terms of webinars from ourselves, and look out for those formal communications on what will be upcoming next from this webinar series. So thanks very much, everyone. You've been a wonderful audience, and also it's been good to hear from the presenters. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.